10 books I want to read before the end of the year. Will I? Who knows? This is more me putting this out here to be accountable, because I am really behind on a lot of my arcs and a lot on reading in general. So these are kind of the physical books I want to read before the end of the year. The audiobooks I'll just pick up as and when and what I want to do. But I think if I put an aim on trying to finish 10 books before the end of the year, it should be accomplishable, but who knows. Also, when I'm filming this, I'm not very well, so if I sound congested, that's why. Top of the list is Cry Voidbringer. So this is an arc. It's due out in November, so I do want to read it before then. But with the God's power wait, a broken system, do you save yourself or fight for the people you love? With the God's power waning, the Queen of Ashby must find another way to bolster her fight against her imperialist oppressors. The solution, wrenching children of other cultures from their homes and conspiring them into service. Hammer was one of those children. Now she's a jaded soldier waging Ashby's perpetual war, thinking only of her own survival. But when she accidentally rescues Viridian, a child with a rare and potentially devastating powers, her priorities shift. The girl appears to be the answer to the Queen's prayers, the perfect weapon to restore her kingdom's ancient borders, even if the colonized cities they reconquer don't want her vision of liberation. Can Hammer protect Viridian from the system that broke her before the girl's power is unleashed on the world? That sounds interesting. It sounds like kind of a mother-daughter but not related by blood kind of vibe. So I don't know, I have an arc of it. It's interesting and I can't wait to get to it. I'm saying that and I haven't even touched it yet. But I also have Blood for the Undying Throne on that list, which is book 2 to Blood of the Old King. So I'm not really going to give much of what's going into Blood of the Undying Throne blurb. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Blood of the Old Kings because it is a book 2. Now, Blood of the Old Kings, you are following 3 protagonists. One is a woman who goes to a chained dragon for help against her world being colonized, in a sense, kind of oppressed, imperial empire coming across, that kind of vibe. The other one is a young warlock who, within this world, if you're like a warlock magician, you have to stay in the school unless you have specific permission to leave. No matter how old you are, that's kind of what you get. And she had this voice in her head, and the voice in her head told her to go steal something from this magical school, and she steals it and is on the run, and they are chasing her. Then you have the third main character who is trying to discover why his best friend suddenly died when the night before he heard from her and was like, she had something to tell him that was really serious, and when he went to go meet her, he found out she was dead. What did she know? Why did they kill her? That kind of vibe. It's a short book, but it's really, really concise. It has dragons, it has magic systems, everything that was told. It just hooked me by the utter throat, and I couldn't stop reading. I enjoyed it so much. And then there is Cinderhouse. I just requested this because it's Fair Mask, but then I read the blurb and I was like, this is interesting. And it is a Cinderella retelling. You think you know Cinderella's story, the ball, the magical shoes, the handsome prince. You're halfway right and all the way wrong. Ella is a haunting. Murdered at 16, her furious ghost is trapped in her father's house, invisible to everyone except her stepmother and stepsisters. Even when she discovers how to untether herself from her prison, there are limits. She cannot be seen or heard by the living people who surround her. Her family must never learn she's able to leave, and at a stroke of every midnight she finds herself back on the staircase where she died, until she forges a wary friendship with a fairy charm seller and makes a bargain for 3 nights of almost living freedom that means she can finally be seen, danced with, touched. It's a standalone, it's Fair Mask, it's gay. What more do you want? I am definitely going to be reading that. I also have Lives a Bit of Rain by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is book 4 in the City of Last Chances series. I have no idea how to explain the series. It is weird, but not weird. I don't know. There's gods that are shunned. There's this group of imperial people who the pals basically, who don't like anybody worshipping gods and religion, so they suppress it. So the gods are losing their power, but some people still have that power, and it's revolution. There's this happening. Each book kind of works as a standalone, set in the same world, but it is kind of slow, like kind of trickled with each other. So I really, really liked House of Open Wounds, which was centered around a war and a healing tent, and how they have magic, and how all the pals were just turning their blind eye to how everybody was being healed, until somebody was being healed to the point where, oh shit, you're now healed, but you now can't fight, because if you cause pain on somebody else, the wounds that you're dying from will then come back. That was interesting. That was book 2. Book 3 was really, really fun. And so I have an arc for book 4, and I do really want to read it, but I just don't know how to explain this series to you other than just try it. You will either like it or you will hate it. I think you fall in the middle. This one was a bit middling for me, but book 2 fucking loved. And I love book 3 as well. I just adored it. I also have Strength of the Few, which I'm going to read that immediately on release, because apparently the publishers hate me and they don't want to give me an arc. Sad. But that is book 2 to Will of the Many. And if you haven't heard of Will of the Many, hell, I could give you I could talk about that to the end of the days. But Will of the Many is, you follow main character Viz, who refuses to cede his will, and he's one of the few people who don't. Most people in society, you are ceding your will to people higher up in the hierarchy, but he refuses to. No matter whether he's been whipped or whatever, he says, I don't want to. And because of that, he's unique. But he also kind of gets found out, and he is eventually adopted by somebody in power who wants to use him to spy at this prestigious school to find out why his brother died. That is the bare bones of what this is. It's dark academia, it is twisty, it is compelling. I was addicted when I first listened to it. I was like, oh my god, and I've read it so many times at this point. So this is book 2, and I'm not looking at the book 2. I want to go in completely blind. So yeah, I can't wait, because the ending of book 1 was I read it like the year it came out, and I've been waiting like 2 years for book 2 with that ending. Like, what the actual fuck, man. I also have The Isle and the Silver Sea by Tatashiri, which I might read this before it comes out. I might not, because usually I get a romance kick closer to Winter New Year is when I want to gravitate more to romance books, and this is a sapphic romance. But it also sounds really, really kind of fun, and I have really, really enjoyed Tatashiri's The Jasmine Throne series, even though I haven't actually read book 3 yet. I'm not enjoying that for the romance side of it. I'm enjoying it more for the world and the plot side of it, but I'm enjoying it at the same time. So there is that. In a Britain full by stories, the knight and the witch are fated to fall in love and doom each other over and over and over, the same tale retold over hundreds of lifetimes. Cimmerian is a witch of the woods. Vinna is a knight of the Queen's court. When the two women begin to fall for each other, how can they surrender to their desires when to give in is to destroy each other? As they seek a way to break the cycle, a mysterious assassin begins targeting tales like theirs. To survive, the two will need to write a story stronger than the one the fate has given them. But what tale is stronger than the knight and the witch? This actually might be very apt for spooky season, so I may pick this up a lot sooner than planned. The other one on my list is The Blackfire Blade, which is book 2 to the Silver Blood Promise. And this is kind of like Indiana Jones, Lies of Locke-Lamora-esque, right? A little bit different. But I'm not going to give you a blurb for book 2 because it's a book 2 in a series and you may not have read book 1. But you follow, it's Lucan, because I always get confused because it's James Logan and I'm like, Logan? They're similar. But anyway, who is, he's a dropout, right? He's hit bottom rung, doesn't really care about anything in society, is just like, I don't care, things haven't gone my way, I'm just going to drink and whatever. But he then finds out his father was murdered, and he suddenly is consumed with this, I need to find out why. And it takes him to a city where there's political things going on. He has to kind of steal things, infiltrate people he shouldn't be, and there's more going on than meets the eye. And he meets up with my utter favourite character, Flea, who is this little urchin, and she goes around and she helps him, and the duo together of those two are just amazing and brilliant, and I love them to bits. So that's kind of the premise of this book, and the way what I've heard James Logan talk about this book is I think each book is going to be in a different setting, but they're not standalones in the same world. You're still following the same story, it's just leading you through these different kind of the world that he's creating, that kind of thing. So that's what's happening here. And so Blackfire Blade I have an arc of, and I should really get to this before November, end of October, because that's when it comes out, and look at me in middle of September, still not touched it. That just says it all. I also have Brigands and Bread Knives on my list I want to read but I don't know if I 100% will. I really did enjoy Bookshops and Bone Dust. I do have an arc of Brigands and Bread Knives, and it sounds like it's got a lot more adventure and meat to it than the other cozy stories, because I like my cozies to have a bit more meat to it, and that's my understanding of Brigands and Bread Knives. It is, I mean, I'm just going to give you the blurb, because they're all kind of standalones, to be fair, in the same world of Brigands and Bread Knives. So and you are following a character that is in Bookshops and Bone Dust, who I absolutely adored. I loved her. Fen has weathered the stillness of storms of her bookseller's life for decades, but now, in the face of crippling ennui, transplants herself to the city of Thune to hang out her shingle beside a long-absent friend's coffee shop. What could be a better pairing? Surely a charming renovation montage will cure what ails her, if only things were so simple. It turns out that fixing your life isn't a one-time prospect, nor as easy as a change of scenery and a lick of paint. A drunken and desperate knight sees the Ratkin waking far from home in the company of a legendary warrior surviving the inertia, an imprisoned chaos goblin with a fondness for silverware and an absolutely thumping hangover. As together they fend off Rogue's gallery of ne'er-do's wells lying to claim the bounty the goblin represents, Fern may finally reconnect with the person she actually is when nothing seems inevitable. It sounds fun for Brigands and Bread Knives, so I should really read that. But that might be something I might pick up going into winter, because cozy seems winter. It's either cozy is winter or big epic fantasy is winter. There's no in between. Don't explain it. The Tower and the Tyrant I have on my list. I was a little bit too NetGalley happy when I was off work for 7 weeks, thinking, yeah, of course I'll have all this time to read these books, knowing, no, I would not. So this is where we are. So, A Land Divided, a history inked in blood, one sorcerer's quest for answers. In what the world beyond the City of the Wise is fraught with danger, but Fola, a talented sorceress who has left the safety of its walls, is unconcerned. She's on the hunt for magical remnants left behind by the first folk, ancient beings who are but the whisper of a memory. Only by finding them might she uncover the secret to their power and a way to pull the Rivenlands out of the darkness. Dangers lies ahead for Fola, however she feels about it, and when events conspire to drag her into a cursed kingdom to investigate the death of its king, she's soon faced by threats from both the living and the dead. Fola will need to rely on her wits, her magic, and her unlikely friends if she's going to survive. But there is always hope, no matter how dark things get, and 3 things remain true above all else. Fellowship is stronger than isolation. The past will come back to haunt you. Nothing stays secret forever. It sounds interesting. So, when does this come out? Oh, 6th of November. So I have time to get to this one. But yeah, it sounds really interesting. That's on my list. That is on my list. Mainly because I said mainly this list is so full of arcs, because I have like 26 that I need to get through, and I'm probably going to do like NetGalley November, that I think there's a creator who does a read along for that, so I'm hoping to join that and actually get through a lot of them in November. I'm hoping to get through some of them before then, because again, 26. Hang on, let me actually see if it is 26. No, it's 30. A lot of these are arcs. I mean, some of them I have actually read, to be fair. Like, I'm reading Tales Deadly Devotion very slowly. But Paper Good Intentions, Daughter of the Other World, and Green Teeth I've read. So there's 3 out of it's 27. Some of them are going back to like 2-3 years ago. I haven't actually read. So yes, this is partly why I'm setting this up, to force me to actually get through my arcs. But I do have one book on here which is going to be the hardest one to try and complete. And let me grab it. And that is Midnight Tide, book 5 of Malazan Book of the Fallen. I am still halfway through House of Chains, and we're currently on the 21st of September. I don't have any drive to go back to House of Chains at the moment. I'm not very well. My brain is braining, and it's just House of Chains is a little bit of a struggle. I need to actually get the drive back, and once I think if I pick it up, I'll be enjoying it again. But I'm also vlogging it at the same time, so I also have to be in the mood to vlog what I'm reading while I'm reading it. It's the whole thing. But yes, Midnight Tides, which is, bear in mind, House of Chains is okay. House of Chains is 1,000 pages. This one is 959. So it's not 1,000 pages, but it's close. Granted, these are like the really tiny paperback, but I do still want to read them. I have high hopes for this one. So this one, it might be one I pick up over Christmas. Will I finish it before the end of the year? Who knows? But at least I'm hoping I would have picked it up. But yes, the 10 before the end books I need to read before the end of the year. You're all going to keep keep me accountable. If you see me posting about books that are not on this list, feel free to scream at me in the comments. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what books that you are thinking of reading before the end of the year. Anything you have on your list. Are you just going to mood read your way through the end of the year? Because I'm all for that as well. But if you enjoyed, I'd love if you stay around, like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.